there, but get all. So if you see, the pods are not going anywhere, guys. The pod still remains the same. They are not going in. That is what I'm saying about the decoupling. Actually, everything is a different entity. They are not actually tightly coupled. So even if I delete the service, what will happen? Yes, you will lose the connectivity. So this will fail. But if you see, it is not actually deleting all the pods and everything actually. Okay. So what will happen here? So what will happen is here, what you need to do is, you can actually, I'm going to create a new one. This time I'm going to use called something called as load balancer. How? So okay, first okay, ku expose. Okay, first ku get deployment. Okay, ku expose deploy. Okay, deployment name is nginx 01. I'm going to say like hyphen hyphen port is equal to 80, for example, hyphen hyphen target. I'm going to see the same port actually is equal to 80. Now hyphen hyphen type is equal to, this is where yesterday earlier I gave the node port, right? Now I'm going to give you a load balancer. So here, if I go to load balancer, so let me see if I'm able to see a load balancer. No. And I have a target group, which is traffic and WAF testing. These are different actually. Now what I'm going to do is, let's see what will happen if I type is, so if you hit enter, without, okay, so if you see hyphen hyphen type, I didn't give anything. What is happened? Cube get svc for short form service. Now the problem is it is exposed, but it has exposed using the cluster IP. It's good I did that one, because here you can do is a cluster, you can expose as a cluster IP, you can expose as a node IP, you can expose as a load balancer. Cluster IP is fine. Now what will happen? This is only exposed inside the cluster, guys. You can't really access from outside the cluster. How do I know? Because if I type curl, if I give this one, right, it won't be reachable actually. It won't work. So what I can do is I can log into the cluster, or for that what I'm going to do, ssh -i dot idrsa admin @ I'm going to log into this instance, which is master server, right? So I'm going to use the public IP and log in. Let's see what will happen. So I'm into it. Now what I'm going to do is curl, and if I type this one, see, it is coming. I'm getting it actually. So means it is only works inside the cluster basically. Okay, this is how basically from the cluster means you can actually have from inside the cluster. Anyway, I'm going to come out, but what I'm going to do is, okay, I'll say ku get svc, ku delete svc, and I'm going to say delete this service, and I'm exposed as a load balancer as well, so you'll get an idea. So I'll say ku, earlier I use this type is equal to load balancer, load balancer. So it's exposed. Now ku get pods, sorry, get svc. Now I should see a load balancer here. See, under the external IP, earlier there is no external IP, guys, check it out, there is no external IP here, but this time you can simply see it is exposed. Okay, and I should have a load balancer getting created here. So let's go. But the problem is, you're not going to use that, guys, because it's going to deploy classic load balance. That's the problem. See this, the classic load balance is deployed, and you don't need a target group for that one, and it will automatically add the service. So it will take some time. It will eventually give me the what I can say, like connectivity. So let me copy this and put it into, still it's not yet come. So what we can do is, it's still in the starting phase, so I'm going to copy this new private window. I'm going to paste it here, hit enter. So after some time you're going to get it. Okay, this is how you have cluster IP, and you have. I think we need to put a lot of time into this to understand that node port as well as cluster as well as load balancer, guys. It's not easy. Again, you have one more called ingress controller also, which like a traffic. You remember the traffic which we use? Similarly, here we call as ingress controller. Okay, we need to do that one as well. Apart from that, you have a lot of other components. So let it come. Any questions here, guys? Before this comes, anything you need to understand? Kubernetes is big, so let's see. Questions, guys? Okay. Okay. So let it be. Now, what I'm going to do is, it take little time to come here. What I'm going to do is, meanwhile, let's go and check it out. What is our Microsoft cluster is doing here? Man, I see this. The please wait finish to see. Looks like it's failed actually. Why it is failed? Let me go and see. Yeah, it is created. Good thing. So if I go inside, so if you see it is created, it is having like right now you don't have a concept of master here, guys. Okay, so you see this, the master that's called control plane. It is actually managed by Azure itself. The beauty of Azure AKS is they're not going to charge you for the control plane. Okay, not means that master server. So but they will charge you for the nodes which I'm going to use. For example, if you go here, see, this is using 3 nodes actually. So B2S I'm going to use, that's comes around like 4 is 12 rupees per hour I'm going to get if I start using this one. Okay, so anyway, so but they're not going to, but EKS, right, they have 10 cents per control plane. You need to pay for it like this if you want to go for AWS, right? The reason I didn't deploy in AWS is they're going to pay 10, but I'm not much familiar with EKS. That's why I know AKS, so I deployed it. Okay, good. Now how can I connect, do the same thing here what I did? Now one thing you need to understand here is, along when you deploy the AKS cluster, right, there is let me show you what will happen. They also deploy a load balancer here. Entire load balancer, if I go to, for example, load balancers here, right? So you see there is a standard load balancer deployed. If I go to for the Kubernetes actually, okay, standard load balancer. Now if I want to access, right, what I can do is I can actually use the cloud shell. So it's one of the good one. I don't know why AWS is not implemented this cloud shell, because everywhere I need to install the AWS CLI for do that. So they should have done this again, because Google have, and these guys should also have the cloud shell. Maybe it is there in their backlog. Near future they might come with cloud shell as well. That's what my expectation. Okay, what I'll do is okay, so I'll say, okay, what I want is I want to get something like this. Here I have credentials. Actually I need to get these credentials, so I'm going to copy and I'm going to get the credentials. All right. Eh, all right, okay, good. So I'll say like q get pods hyphen a. Oh, come on. So if I put ku gets pod hyphen a, we should show me all the pods running in the cluster basically. So see, this is what you're going to get it. So earlier what we did was everything on the AWS because using the kops. Right now I'm showing you what I can do on AKS on the uh, Kubernetes cluster actually. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So which is something like uh, ku create deploy, name is like nginx 01 hyphen hyphen image is equal to index.docker.io. I'm going to say, so I'm going to say like v1, okay, something like this, deploy. So hit enter, so it will actually deploy them. So okay, you get deploy. Okay, so it's getting created, same what we did here. Let's check it out if I got the load balancer up and running here. Same time, see?
Same comments, right?
Yeah, it's kubectl is same, right? Doesn't matter where you deploy the Kubernetes. If the kubectl requires it's the same one. So if you see, it's deployed. Now what will happen if you delete the service, right? So ku delete svc. I'm going to delete this nginx 01. So what will happen is it is going to automatically delete the this one, what is this one, like a load balancer, everything actually. So the one thing I understand is why they're not even to give like network load balancer and application load balancer, because it requires a target group. If you see for a classic load balancer, you don't require a target group, you directly machines will get added to the load balance. That might be the reason. But real time people, what they do is they use something called as ingress controller. The problem here is if you use a load balancer, now once the port 80 was being used in the load balancer, you can't really reuse that one, right? You need to have, because if you have 10 websites, basically if you have 10 websites, everyone requires the port 80, but load balancer can have only one time it will open port 80, it will become issues. So you need to use the traffic which we discussed last week, and we have different types of things here like nginx controller, we have kong, different is there. So and based upon the host name we can do the routing actually. It's deleted. I can verify, I can go back and verify, guys. So let me go here, load balance is still there or not. If I refresh it, so if you see, they have deleted. Okay, right, let's do the same thing here. If I want to do this one, how? Okay, so if you see, I have created the here, so I'll say ku get pods. So I have one-to-one running. So ku what I'll do, like scale deploy nginx 01 hyphen. So replicas, is it, guys, you have any problem in seeing my screen? Is it good? Yes, no?
Yes, it is good.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so if you see, right. Right, if you see, okay, done. So but I need to expose this one. So what I'll do is same here, ku get all, it is showing the default namespace what are things deployed. Now what I'm going to do is ku expose deploy deploy. So what it will do is let and deploy this one. I'll say like target port is equal to 80 and hyphen hyphen type is equal to, so if I say load balancer, now if I do that, it will be exposed and get svc. If you see, there is a here I'm going to get a extra ip assigned actually. So load balancer ip will get be assigned. So let's wait for it. So if you see nginx 01, right, it's pending, but I should get it. Okay, if you see, give me 1 minute. So if you see right now, if you see like it is exposed. Now what I can do is I can actually copy, come here, give it here. Hmm. Hmm. What is happening? So it's exposed. If you see, I think what is the target port? Okay, port 80, target port 80 hyphen type is equal to load by. It should come. Yeah, it's come. Check it out, guys. So this is how basically I can go ahead and do that one. So right now, if I give load balancer, don't think that it is going to deploy a load balancer. It is actually going to use a diff IP actually. If I refresh, right? If I go to the see, it will have multiple IPs here actually. So if I go back, let's see like outbound rules. I should have multiple outbound rules. Okay. Front end IP. Yeah. So if you see, this is the one. Say 52, 142, 30, 104. Because what it's going to do is it's going to take multiple public IPs. If you create one more, right? So it will take one more public IP. So what I'm trying to say is, let's go do one thing. Okay. So what I'll do is I can reduce it. I'll say KU, KU, and I'm going to say like KU get pods, KU. That is a node port actually. So what is happening is, what will happen? This is what happening. Okay, why my sketch is not working, guys? So it load balancer will get a hit by 30 80, and it will send to the node port to 32055. Again, this is a service. This will be actually sent back to the this service IP actually at the back end. From there it is going to talk to the again 80 in the port. So you have multiple things in between. So starting load balancer get a hit at 80, and load balancer at the back end, it is connected to the nodes, right? It will actually send to 32055. 32055 will actually send to the service IP, which is this one at the port again, and then at the back end it will be converted into 80 again actually. So at 80 of this one, at the back end it will be sending to the container. So there are multiple things. So Swarm is little different, guys. Swarm is like, don't work like this. Swarm is AC, but Kubernetes is little different actually, the way it works. Here in normally it will show 8000 is to 80 something. It won't really get a node port in Docker service actually. Here you'll get it. Okay, hold on. So I'm going to say Docker scale, and I'm going to deploy nginx 01 hyphen hyphen replicas is equal to 01. Okay, ku get pods skin. Now what I can do, I can say ku what I guess like create deploy. Okay, again nginx 02, because I already created one, hyphen hyphen image is equal to index dot docker dot io. I'm going to say like v3. Okay, ku expose deploy nginx 02 hyphen hyphen port is equal to 80 hyphen hyphen target hyphen port is equal to 80 hyphen hyphen type is equal to, let me tell you guys, real time you don't do like this is a bad way of doing, because you're going to put everything in a YAML file and deploy it. But this is not a complete Kubernetes course. I'm just giving, because again creating of files will take time for me. Hyphen a port is equal to hyphen hyphen type is equal to expose deploy nginx 02 hyphen hyphen port 80 hyphen port target, sorry, target. Okay, so ku get svc. So what it will happen is it will going to assign one more public IP, guys. The problem here I can see here is if I refresh, you will get one more public IP. So the more number of services you're going to consume, more number of public IPs, it's going to cost you a lot. Okay, even for public IP you need to pay the money, hourly charges, right? How can we overcome that? Again, remember the traffic we do use that one. We're going to use that ingress controller and get it done. Actually, this is how basically we can do the stuff using the Kubernetes. Okay, so same thing works here. So for example, I can actually go here. uh, if you see, I should get like this. I got this one. I should get color different colors basically because it was been exposed to version v3 actually. Not sure if it should come by this time. Let's see, it's just doing the search actually. Okay, yeah, you got it actually. It takes a little time, but eventually you got it. This is how you can do that in Fun. If you want to upgrade also, it is very easy actually, but management is very easy in Kubernetes. But again, if you want to practice Kubernetes here, better. I mean, this is actually managed Kubernetes, but if you want to practice full-fledged Kubernetes, right, we need to do that using the kops actually. And this is also fine. Once you are familiar with all the concepts, right, only you are doing some testing and everything, and you can use this one. This is more easy when if you go to the Kubernetes engine in Google actually. It will deploy in 5 minutes actually because it was been done by them only, right? So if I go back and delete these services, delete service, I'll say nginx 01, nginx 02. So the moment you delete this one, what will happen at the back? And these IPs will get should be deleted actually. See, one by one, they'll get deleted. So this is how the Kubernetes works. So again, any questions, guys? That's about Kubernetes. Basically, that's overview about Kubernetes. Now I'm going to delete this one. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to delete the whole cluster and click on yes, it's get deleted. And similarly, I'm going to, okay, what about how to delete this one here? So what you need to do is you need to, if you want to delete everything right now, ku get pods -a, like a lot of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a command here to delete everything. So if I go up, and this is what only thing is I need to change here. So it should get everything should be deleted. So don't manually delete it. If you manually delete it, there is an auto scaling group at the back end. What it's going to do is if you delete some machines manually, the auto scaling group thinks that okay, you have deleted mistakenly, and it will start creating new. So you always delete from here. Okay, this is Kubernetes, guys. Okay, now one minute. So we still have like 45 minutes of time. I'm not going to take that much of time. I'm going to use next 15 minutes actually, and I want to show you how to install the Ansible, guys, because I really don't want to start from tomorrow. I'm going to use full 3 hours for only Ansible. So what I want to do is I want to show you how to install Ansible in this one. So and then tomorrow we're going to talk about all about management, because I want to next week, right, I'm going to initially for 1.5 hours I'm going to talk about again remaining Ansible, and next week we're going to talk about Puppet. Okay, after that week we're going to start Jenkins and everything. Okay, right, hold on. Oh, let it come. So it takes a few minutes, so I'll go back here. I'll go to the